Kilo Echo 8 Uniform Bravo Hotel / AG.
All right, AG, welcome aboard, sir. How long have you been an AG?
Just since last night. I've had a lot of fun on 10 meters, but you're the first person I've talked to since I passed my general class test, so hey, good to talk to you.
Yes, sir. And what's the name there?
Name is Charlie. I'm in north central West Virginia, but I am running a Qso FTDX-10.
If you'd be interested in a setup procedure, it starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3, or a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how your compressor is labeled. Just a token amount, something you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us achieve our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of the setup procedure. Roger?
Roger that. Hopefully it sounds a little better. I have my power turned down. Sorry about that.
All right. Are you up to 1 billion watts now, or half a billion, or 100, or how much?
Now I'm up to 100 watts now. I do have an amplifier. I have an old Ameritron AL811H. It was built back in 2009, I think.
Yes, sir. Are you running it now?
No, I've got it on standby right now.
Well, gosh, why don't you turn it on and let's hear it if you can. I mean, if you want to put your best foot forward, we are recording, so, it's up to you. But
yeah, I need to tune it up, which I haven't done yet. I just turned it on a few minutes ago and heard you on here, and I just figured I'd jump in and say hello.
Well, if you're interested in our setup procedure, what we do is transmitter setups on this frequency on Friday afternoons, usually. And it starts with you engaging your compressor at a 3. It's a token amount, something you'll never hear, but we, usually it helps to give us our 3 dB dynamic range at the end of the setup, which transforms your transmitter from a 30% average peak modulation to an 80 to 85% average peak modulation. So it's quite a difference as far as your apparent volume, Roger.
Okay, I think that's what I have it set on for sure.
Alrighty, then move to your ALC with mic gain in hand. And as you say the magic word audio, just that magic word there, spoken just as you would in a normal conversation, not in don't stress it, just say it. And then we want to get a 2/3 reading on your ALC by way of mic gain control. So say the word and then adjust your mic gain as you're saying it to where your ALC reading is 2/3, Roger?
Okay, audio. I'm just above the 9, right around the 9 mark, S9 mark on my meter.
Roger that. And why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, I'm just running a dipole antenna. It's up about 34 feet. I'm down in a valley, which is kind of bad. I mean, but it does get out. I don't think the vertical would help me a whole lot. I don't even know if 200 feet on a tower would help me a whole lot, being that I'm in this valley. So I've just pretty much been sticking with dipoles, and I have 3 or 4. Right now I just have 1 set up.
Well, listen, I want to tell you about those dipole antennas. Those are really nice antennas. They're very, very effective and efficient. And what you want to do is try to get that SWR down to where you don't have to run your antenna tuner. You get it down to a 1-to-1 or even lower than that. if you can, and that's just a matter of time and pulling one end down and making a little adjustment and making a little adjustment on the other end. Always trying to bring that antenna to resonance on usually the middle of the band that you're operating, like the middle of 40 meters would be the way to do that, and just keep bringing the frequency of the resonance of that dipole to the middle part of the band, and then keep adjusting. What I do is on the negative side of the dipole, I use that to adjust my SWR for minimum, and I use the high side to bring it back onto frequency. And I keep going back and forth like that, always working to get the SWR lower and to keep the antenna resonant on the middle frequency. Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, I do need to tweak it a little bit, I'm sure. I haven't messed with this one a whole lot since I put it up, but that's definitely in the plans down the road.
Well, it's just a matter of, when you get it down to a 1.2, nobody in the world is going to know the difference between that and a much finer tune except you, and it's like, in my case, it's just a personal challenge to get it down there to a 0.04. I use what's called split bolts. I don't know if you know what split bolts are, but they're a bolt with a notch cut in them. You slip the two pieces of wire between there and then tighten it up. And what I do is I use about a foot of wire at the end of my antennas, and it hangs 90 degrees down from the normal element itself, and then I just nibble on that. I don't have to nibble on the antenna itself. I've got a split bolt that connects this little piece of wire to my main element, and then I just make adjustments on that little piece of wire, never having to actually do it on the antenna itself. Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, I'll have to try that. Now, this dipole, when I was working 10 meters, which I still do, I was talking to, I had contacts in Brazil, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. I talked to a lot of the guys in Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico. I talked to a lot of the guys in Puerto Rico quite often.
Yes, sir. I've got you now on the Massachusetts SDR. I usually use the Milford, PA SDR. I've run 4 internet SDR receivers around the country just to help out, when folks need a little help in their signal. I don't transmit from those, but I listen to those, or I have those in my listening repertoire, along with my local. I have 3 local 10-foot vertical magnetic loops at different angles that I use those as scanner antennas, so I found that I thought, if I just had a 10-foot vertical loop on a rotor, it would do great, but that's so slow. So I have 3 antennas, and I just use them as scanner antennas for my local antenna, along with my my dipole. And a lot of times the dipole's hotter than the mag loops, but it just depends. But I think you're sounding very good. Your EQ sounds pretty good, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. Yeah, I built my own window pass-through because I have my station set up on the 2nd story of my house, so I had to build me a pass-through through my window. I just built for 3 antennas right now. Like I say, I just have one up and operating, but I do have the space to put a couple more, so I may try that later on. And also, the one I have, the dipole I have up now is pointing pretty much north-south, but I want to set one up going east-west as well, just to see how that does.
Yes, sir. Set that second antenna up juxtaposed to the other ones. Just so if you're, theoretically, if your one antenna runs north-south, set the other one up east-west, and that'll give you a whole different ball game. And you can, with an AV switch, you can switch back and forth and get the hottest one, and you on receive. And usually, the hottest one on receive is also the hottest one in transmit back. Roger? Is also the hottest one in transmit back. Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, I'm anxious to try that. That's going to be my next project, so I'll be working on that soon. I have a lot of projects, just not a lot of time right now to do it. I'm semi-retired, but not totally retired. I hope to retire totally here within the next year or so, and I'll have plenty of time for my radios.
Well, there you go, and that's what ham radio takes a bunch of is time. There's so many different frequencies to consider, and different kinds of transmissions, AM transmission, sideband, and digitals, all kinds of things to do. So that's the thing about amateur radio. There's something for everybody, Roger. That's the thing about amateur radio. There's something for everybody, Roger.
Roger that. And I'm trying to recruit people all the time to get back into the ham radio, especially in my area. There's not very many around close to me that's ham operators anymore. I know a lot of them, but a lot of them just they quit operating for some reason.
Oh, Jimmy Ferguson.
But I still talk to people and try to get them to get involved,
Well, listen, let me say 73 to you, sir. You're sounding mighty good there. Like I say, I'm copying you, I guess, up on my Massachusetts SDR. Milford is not cooperating today at the moment, so I'm using Massachusetts as one of my 4 internet SDR receivers, and you're sounding good up that way. So if you would like to hear your audio, we are recording, and we'll be recording now till 5, and then we'll put it up on YouTube by tomorrow afternoon. So if you'd like to hear your great audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 2,300 Qso-Vlog air check recordings. And let me say 73 to you, and have a good afternoon and a great weekend, Roger. Let me say 73 to you, and have a good afternoon and a great weekend, Roger.
Roger that. 73's to you. This is Kilo Echo 8, Uniform Bravo Hotel, and I'm sure I'll get to talk to you again sometime on here. So 73's, and have a good evening.